All right, let's see. All right, I'm gonna see if this works. This is a makeshift cardboard, prop, thing to hold. Well, essentially, it's a platform to hold the phone, so I can see a kind of overhead thing. I don't feel any reason to spend money, so this might collapse midway through the fucking um, video, I think. But what I'm hoping to do is it'll last, and it won't. I won't be moving the table. Won't bounce the phone too bad. So I think so. Well, no one's watching right now anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I see what happened. So last night I started deciding, well, I should just finish the. I was gonna finish the drawing that I started last night, the gnome thing I started last night late, and I started doing the shadowing on him, and I was like, you know what, it might be fun. I'm gonna be drawing it anyways, and I get to talk, and I don't talk to people right now, so you guys are gonna hear me talking. So I won't be able to see. I won't be seeing the comments in any way because it'll be above my head at this point. Hopefully, I won't be in the way too bad. Um, Sun's out. We got a decent thing going. So let me. I'm gonna start drawing and doing the shadowing of our gnome character, our gnome wizard, which is one of my first, I guess, commissions. I don't call it commission. For character drawings for your character. So hopefully you guys can see this okay. All right, I won't be able to check it very well. So let's go through and start finishing off. So I got my shadow tone, my light tone, and we're seeing me do here with the color. Like I use a color shadow instead of just gray. That gives me an option because sometimes, like I draw, like you can see how I draw when I draw the real chaotic line work and stuff, and I pick things from it. Sometimes there's things that you see in that chaos that I didn't see initially. I didn't pick out going myself. It wasn't something I consciously chose. So I look at my subconscious thought processes sometime, and I'll go from there and pick out those things that kind of pop out in hindsight to me. And the same thing goes with this color thing. So what happens is that when you get the colors in here, this yellow or whatever, I can change this color. We can change this color with our options to get a different color. And sometimes that can lend to color options or things going that I had not foreseen. That's the real reason I do that. It allows me to manipulate the color palette more than I might have otherwise. So if you're watching this now and you're like, oh, I didn't see what he's talking about in the video last night. I started drawing this character. It was I got asked to do commissions for a group of venturing party for D&D, a friend of mine's party. And the first one I decided to draw was the Svirfneblin. The Svirfneblin, which is a race of gnomes, and what is this dark fairy world of the Underdark, the world below us, that that mostly evil things live in. Actually, most of the things down there are pretty dark. The Drow being one of them, the evil dark elves. I drew one of those. I drew another Svirfneblin character. I drew one just in my ABCs of D&D series that I've been working on. But this is a different one. And he had said, "Oh, I want." Actually, I think it might be they. I must say they because it might be I might be a girl. I don't remember who. I don't know who the player is who's commissioning it. It just was a list of people in there. So it might be a her. So, anyways, they are playing this gnome, this Svirfneblin. This is their character, and the input I got from them was this idea of hedgehog. Now, and that's where I get some of this angular, the pointed nose, the angle of the head, the kind of spiky protrusions. That's where that's where I'm imposing that hedgehog feel to it is what I'm doing there. But it looks like a goblin. But like I said last night, like what is a gnome? Like what is the difference between a gnome and a goblin? Like I guess it's just the way you play it, maybe. So I mean, other than just statistics, like there is statistical differences. Deep Gnome's gonna get I couldn't even tell you what they get. I think they get a bonus to their intelligence and their constitution. I don't remember now. It might be constitution. I don't think it's dex, but it might be. The Svirfneblin are a race of good aligned demi-humans or fairy folk, essentially. At some level. Well, depends on what edition you play. Sometimes they were fairy folk, sometimes they were just cousins of the dwarves or whatever. The gnome has always been a weird D&D edition. They never quite fit in anything. It was essentially a way of getting another magical race in to the game, because the elf was the only one. You had the elf originally, and the elf was like a fighter magic user type character, and the halfling was your fighter rogue, and then you have an alternate fighter with some other abilities for the dwarf. But the gnome was a attempt to have like a magical dwarf, I guess, is how that was, everything I've read about it. I never got the creature I forgot what it was, creature curseable or something like that from basic D&D when they first appeared. So I don't know what that class was like in that iteration of the game. That would have been first, or basic D&D, I think, before it appeared later on. They appeared, from my memory of them, first time I encountered a Svirfneblin as a available player race was in Unearthed Arcana, and that would have been Unearthed Arcana, the original one from like the mid 80s. And I always do this. I always do our mid-tone first, which is the color you see there. We're going to go through here, hit all of our shadows, our deepest shadows. And then when we're done with that, I'll go with a near white highlight and hit that. And then this will be a layer. We're going to increase the layers. Because what we're seeing right now, we're seeing this happening underneath the ink layer. You can see here we have our ink layer, our shadow layer. This is where our sketch is at. I have that disabled so you can't see it. But you could get rid of the shadowing and just see what we're looking at that way. But this allows us, you can see what I'm doing here. And since I really love line work, I love the line of something. So I think that line really makes a difference in a lot of design elements. But if you watch me draw, if you've seen my drawings in any way, you know that anyways. So no one's, I can't see comments. So I'm using an iPad Pro 12-inch tablet, which at the time I bought it was the biggest they had. I've had it fucking take a shit on me once already and lost all my drawings. So when I was doing my old vampire drawing series, most of those drawings are now what appears on Instagram and Facebook is it. Like everything else beyond that is gone. I lost all that other stuff. Whatever. If it was on paper, it would have been the same. So it's not that big a deal. I still have access to it. I can still pull it off Instagram if I wanted to make a print or something like that. Yeah, that's the old tablet here. If anyone's didn't see my Facebook poster, I finally heard back from Beaumont finally. They called this morning and told me that my test came back finally negative for COVID-19, so I don't have that, which is great in that I don't have to, I didn't have it, of course, but I kind of wish I had it, at that point. Like if that was all it was, if I could have went through that and then dealt with it and that was all it was going to be, I was now over with. But now I have to look forward to finally actually getting it. Hopefully we can put that off for about a month or so. Everything starts to calm down a little bit, and it will be that big a deal. But it does suck that I will inevitably have to miss work again when I do contract it officially. So that sucks, but we'll see more drawings. So always look on the bright side of life, I guess. You know? I don't have a name for this character. I never was given one. The character has a name. I don't have to name him, but like, it's kind of weird to be working without a name. You know, they might have given me the name and I don't. Maybe I missed it. Let's see. Nope. Nope. No information. So this is our nameless gnomish wizard from the deep world, from the world below, the Underdark. His little bindle. Which I had thought about this bindle last night before I went to bed, and I think that he's going to have something magical in the bindle. Oh, where'd you come from? A shadow for his little mushroom stick, little adventure rad. 10-foot poles. What's your character have? My character has 50 feet of rope and a 10-foot pole. That's an adventure right there. You gotta have a 10-foot pole. Wrong one. The original adventure that this all comes from, that these guys first appeared in, from what I understand, which is Descent into the Depths of the Earth. And that is our first, I think that's our first encounter with them, or maybe it was Shrine of the Koatoa. But either way, it was one of those early adventures that introduced the Drow and the Underdark, as Gary Gygax saw it, into D&D officially. I never played any of those, and I would like to. I would love to have played those, but we didn't have that type of adventure party. Fuck, when I was a kid, it was pretty much just my buddy Damien and I. Yeah, there was a couple of people. My buddy Steve Passis would play, and Tim Koneski and stuff like that. We'd all play D&D together, but we never played those. I never had the money, nor I think at the time, there was a lot of feelings for myself, at least, that it was not the proper way to do it, that I was supposed to come up with my own stuff all the time, and that's what I did. Like, oh, real Dungeon Master players, real Dungeon Dragons players make up their own stuff. You know, you never use modules. Where, like now, like looking at it now, like, damn it, I wish I would have done more modules. They were easy, and it created a common narrative, I think. I think it creates a common narrative for other Dungeons & Dragons players. Like, oh, I I did Vault of the Drow. I did you know, Tomb of Horrors or whatever. You know, how did your characters go through that, or how did you guys make it out? Oh, we did this, or oh, how did you guys deal with this situation? Those kind of things create a kind of common war story like narrative. I think a lot of it, and you miss that when you don't. Like, it's one thing to tell someone, oh, we had this really cool campaign when I was a kid, but like without any reference, like that person you're telling that story to, they have no reason to give a shit, really. Like, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, your character Filbo went to the thing, but like everybody knows who Bilbo is because it's a common thing you all share in that adventure. And in the modules, I think that really kind of, I think that did that filled that little gap for people playing at the time. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of how my thinking is on it now. I'm not in the way too bad. This is showing up okay. I'll probably watch it later and be like, what, Kev? What were you doing? Oh, God, that looks stupid. Or I'll have a million different critiques for it, so hopefully it's doing well. I looked at buying something. I was like, well, maybe I could buy like a rig or whatever. I'm like, me spending money right now is not probably the smartest decision. I don't need to be spending a bunch of, money right now. So I did not take that route. Not that I'm in dire straits, but I don't know how fast this is gonna pop. Swing back in the fucking full swing with tattooing. I hope people come in, but it might be a transition period. So let's prepare for that. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Right? That's what we're gonna do. There's probably someone out there right now who's like, I have an appointment with you, and you probably should be drawing my fucking tattoo. And that's probably true. But your tattoo isn't a Svirfneblin. That's we'll draw that one next. I think is what to do. Go through my schedule and see what I got, like what I can do, what I should do. Tattoos are weird though. Sometimes like I would think that, like, I think honestly, like 9 out of 10 times I pre-draw the tattoo, it's a no. They're like nah. And everyone gets real nervous about saying no to the tattoo drawing you do. They're like, oh, I don't want to hurt your feelings. It's awesome. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't, it's a job. I understand if you don't like a drawing, you just don't like a drawing. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm not this drawing. I'm not this fucking Svirfneblin. So if they're like, nah, Keen, nah, bro, I don't like that. And I was like, okay, try something else. I can do that, but I can't. Because you don't like the fucking drawing doesn't mean you don't like me or don't like, I need to die or something. So I don't take it personally if someone doesn't like an art piece. I say that, but it does hurt my feelings, I think, a little bit. I just want to be awesome all the time, You want to be like, yeah, fuck, everything I do is gold. And that's not true. We all know that, so. But I'm pretty good about taking a fucking hit. Like, oh, you didn't like the drawing? Okay, well, let's go with it, man. It's either, tattooing is like a lot of other relationships, man. Like, it's either a fuck yeah or no. Like, if you don't like something, you gotta say it. Like, it's a lot easier to get a tattoo, to not get a tattoo than get it removed. Or live with it being shitty or whatever. Like, you just didn't like it. I had a couple friends of mine, like, not recently, but I've had friends in the past who have told me I did a tattoo for them, and I was so jazzed about whatever I drew or whatever, at least that's the way they saw it, that they didn't want to tell me they didn't like it. So they got a tattoo they don't like on them. Like, it looks good, but it's just, I didn't really look at it that way. I didn't want it to be like that. Like, you should have said something. Jesus Christ. I'm a big boy, you know, like, I can handle a little bit of fucking rejection. We all been there. So criticisms, I don't mind. I really don't mind criticisms that are constructive. If you got a good thing to say, like, people have said to me in the past that I am a horrible critic. I keep doing it. That I am a notorious critic. I've been told that I have a real, like, I guess I'm kind of known for my harsh criticisms of your stuff. If you come in, if you want to get, if someone asks me what I think of their drawing or their tattoo, and I'll give you a real honest answer. And my opinion, when it comes to criticism, and I think this goes for myself and for others as well. But, like, why do you need me to tell you it's awesome? Like, I'm doing artwork. I'm enjoying talking, hearing myself talk, because I'm a fucking narcissist at some level. But where am I going with that? So but if I'm doing tattoos for a living, I know what I'm doing is okay. I know I'm not fucking people up. There's sometimes you see other people's artwork and you're like, ooh, I could be doing tattoos better or whatever. Like, some people, you get a shock like that, especially with some of these young guys. They just they're just doing such great work, and you're like, holy fuck, I wish I could tattoo like that all the time. But oh, God, did it again. But you're doing well. Like, I don't need to hear everybody tell me all the time, oh, that tattoo looks awesome or whatever. And not that I don't appreciate it, but what I'm saying is, what I guess I'm trying to say is if you're asking me as a professional for my opinion of your artwork, it is my duty to try to help you be better, and that does not include me fucking stoking your fire. I don't need to. If you're asking a professional person, if I'm doing comedy, if I'm doing a joke, and I ask another comic, hey, what do you guys think of that? I don't expect them to. They don't need to tell me, oh, that's fucking awesome. I could have a million other people tell me that. I'm asking for a real, legit criticism of what's going on there, and I think the same thing goes for artwork. So I'm notorious. I guess I have a reputation for giving harsh criticisms, and sometimes it's appreciated, sometimes it's not appreciated, and it is what it is. So some people, I've learned, when they ask you for your opinion, they don't want it. They just want you to tell them how awesome they are. And I do. I tell them that. That's what they get. All right. He looks like if you told me to draw a goblin, this is how I draw it. I mean, other than the stoniness of his face, I think I would have drawn him there the same. So I'm already going to take that hit. They're like, hey, that looks like a goblin character I wanted to play. It's like, ooh, okay, well, we're going to call him a Svirfneblin, I guess. I think he looks, well, it doesn't matter what I have to say. Svirfneblin. He's got a scar across his eye there from an old run-in with the Drow, the dark elves of the deep. The Svirfneblin are known for hiding. They're very wily, very cunning, and One thing I did not ask the commissioner, I think that's the word, commissionee. I don't know which. The person who asked me for drawing, I did not ask them a color palette. I didn't ask them a favorite color or something, so I can kind of have something to go off of. So we're gonna have to just pick it. At this stage, with the tablet too, that is not that big a deal because for the most part, I can change everything in post. Like after it's all done, I can change a lot of that with this. Like I showed you with the earlier when I changed the color of the shadow. Like you can change any color on here like that too. So that's not that hard to move around after we're done. Just trying to get rid of some of the extra glowing, this kind of shadowing. What you'll see is when I turn the color of the background on, when I actually do that from white, it becomes way more dramatic of a change. And it's very noticeable, which I'm about to do that and we're gonna see some that I missed. Oh, we'll just pick a color. We're gonna go with a little of a warm color maybe, because I think I'm gonna go with cool colors. I don't know. On him. Let's see where I see him. I'm talking about. Ooh. Boom. Sometimes I'll move that color like I did just now, and I'll do it just so that it's an opposite color or something that makes those highlights very, or those little over, when I colored outside the lines, makes it very dramatic, and that helps a lot. So you'll see me play with the color, and like this background might not be the color we land on it when it's all said and done. I think that's one reason I really like the tablet a lot, is that I don't have to worry about those decisions as much. I just kind of go with it, and I can like change it, and later at any time I can change it well after the fact if I wanted to. But all right, so well, I gotta do this a little bit here too in the bindle. So let's think about colors. Like I said, I'm gonna go with the cools at first. I think we're gonna go with some blues and purples. I've been doing a lot of those colors, and my general color palette is typically, I don't like that. My general color palette is typically pretty muted. I like a muted color palette. I like that either. That's where it is here. So you'll see me do a lot of my blues, all that stuff is all kind of muted in general. So, oh, smooth sniffling already. All right, so that's our shadow. That's our shadow layer, and we can change it later on. But we're gonna see a change up between it and the color layer. Excuse me, because they interact with each other. Because the color layer will not be as opaque. It will become more translucent. So we're gonna see that happen here in a minute. So another layer. There we are. Let's go find our colors. We're gonna go with the blue. I always like this kind of. I like more of an aqua color blue than I do a true blue. I don't know, it's a personal thing. So when we're gonna get our gray for their skin is typically gray. We get our gray, so it's gonna be a blue color, blue gray. Let's go a little bit more blue, since it's gonna have a layer. And then because this is background is gray, green or yellow, we're gonna see when I do the opacity, when I push the opacity down, we're gonna see it turn green, and we may change the color at that point too. So I'm not worried about it just yet. We'll worry about that once we're all said and done. And this here, when I do colors, at least the initial color before I get into like highlights or patterning or anything like that in the all little touch-up bits that you do afterward, I will typically do this where we're just doing solid colors, and that it allows me to see the actual color across, and then I can pick out what parts or what areas I will or will not be changing their color of later on, if I add details or whatever. Oh, that's not. That wasn't his neck. That was the bandana. This is his neck. I knew it was there somewhere. And boom. Ah, back. He's all blue skinned. I've been asked before. I remember conversations in the past where people asked me about drawings. Like, do you have the entire thing in your mind, like where you want it to go? Like, do you have the entire drawing, the entire piece of artwork like planned in your head? And the answer, if you haven't already guessed, is definitely not. Like, that is not how I work as an artist. I'm not sure if anybody does, but like I know I don't for sure work that way. My artwork is almost entirely fucking kind of see your pants. You're always kind of working at it. You're always trying to. Oop. Here, I forgot a spot. Oop, one color. Because of the history of the fairy creature, the red cap, which is a Scottish folklore creature, um, which I love. I love them I love them in the game Changeling, the Dreaming. I love them in actual folklore, English folklore too. The red cap. I like gnomes. I like fey-like creatures. I find that I typically go for a kind of a red cap like feel for most. And because we're doing it all cool, that's why I've opted for a purple. I think this might be the brightest color on this character, at least brightest. That's not like a cool color, I guess. Maybe a cooler color. This might be the warmest color we get to, is what I'm saying. I might even change that. I don't know, but see how it looks when it's on. And yeah, so we guys at the shop I know have been talking about we had a little bit of talk about fitness and stuff like that and keeping ourselves fit and what we were doing at home, and we're all doing like kind of a I guess kind of I guess a soft core fitness challenge. We're trying to see who's going to be, you know, who's going to keep together, I guess, through all this. And it's probably gonna be Doug. Looks like a fucking Smurf. I love it. But I've been doing my workouts, making sure to try to keep it together. You know, trying to keep it fit. You know? And went on my walk today and stuff like that, and did my workouts I'm supposed to be doing. So so far so good when it comes to that. I missed a big spot underneath his chin. But I think all of us have to kind of do that, right? I hope everybody's keeping themselves fit. You know, keep yourself your apocalypse prime. You know, yeah. This whole thing is so weird. Of course, I've said it a million times. I say it all the time. Pretty much every time I chat somebody up, I'm like, hey, so how you doing? You keeping everything together? How you keeping? You know? And I'm like, yeah, it's just fucking weird, right? Like, I knew this was a thing. I knew that we would have this type of kind of a quarantine deal at some point. You know, I knew it from things that, you know, science programs or blah, 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 whatever. But to see it in practice is a different thing. It's like, it's a very different feeling when you're like, oh, this is how it is now. This is how you do things now. It's really kind of surrealistic in a lot of ways. Whoa. Oh, I see it. Did I drop it right into everything? Because you can do that too. Everything that's touching, you can change. Oh, that was it. But you can change everything that's colored and touched with it. You can change that at some levels too by dropping colors and kind of getting a blend between the two. I did that on accident a few times in the past, and I don't think it's kind of cool. Shit, most of the things I've ever found out on this thing are from accident. Like, oh, I can straighten a line on accident. Actually, I think that was told to me, but you can do circles and other like detailed stuff by accident. That's how I did it when I first found it. How do you do an arc, or how do you do? Shit, I've done a ton of things that work that way in this. Sometimes when I think of like what the clothes that these guys wear, you know, like what materials do the Deep Gnomes make their clothes out of? Like they don't. They might have some kind of cattle or sheep or something like that. Like there might be something that we put around there, you know. I don't know, but they're definitely probably not making things out of wood. You know, that's probably one thing. That's why I did a mushroom as our stick. But You know, what is there? What are the boots made out of? Like, what kind of leather do we have down there? Are we using it other? You know, where are they getting that from? Where is that coming from? Kind of weird question, you know, but you know, it might be a relevant one. Relevant question. So I like to draw these little boots. Like, what if they're made out of a weird mushroom leather? You can do that. Almost like a felt, almost, you know, out of mushroom caps and stuff. I don't know which ones are good for that. Of course, I don't know the name. There's probably a name for it, but it's fun to think of that. You know, like, oh, it's little. The leather he's using is all made of mushrooms, something from deep underground. In this strange bioluminescent fungal fairyland that he comes from. Oh, I don't know what the color went down here. Yeah. Oh, missed it. Oh, missed it too much. All right, so there must be a color there. Sometimes if it's already in another color, it'll spread right to the other color. You can't do anything about it, so you have to do it by hand. Color, I had too much of overlap or something happened just now. So there's our base colors. We gotta do a little bit of, let's go with this kind of gray color for our mushroom stick. Yeah, we want that to be a little lighter than that. Am I on the wrong layer? Oh my god, that's why I kept having that problem. All right, so right, so what we got to do is well, that was messed up. Yeah, so that's why they kept coloring everything in, because I was already colored. I should have noticed something was wrong when it did that to me. Oh well, that was my fault. Am I on the right level? Oh well, back to business. Let's go back into coloring here. So this is our color. This is our bright color. And here's our gray color. We'll go back into here. You know, sometimes you make a mistake. You forget to get a layer, you know, separated. And you gotta go back and fix it, you know. So there's that, you know. It could have been worse. I could have done the entire outline on the fucking shadow layer and hated myself for it, which I have done. And then been like, what happened there? You know, you just stop. You gotta get to the point where I'm so frustrated with what just happened that you stop. Right, that's where I messed up last time. So back. So here is where we were at again. We're back to it. Boom. Okay. Close. And we gotta do, I gotta do this color here. I didn't do his shirt. So we got the shirt right here has to be colored in. Forgot that bit. Forgot this bit. And this is another piece of that, which is this here. No, that should be purple. That's where our belt comes in. Or you have a shirt that falls underneath it. This is, oh, what's that color? This is this here. This is a bright colored belt. That's what this is. We're gonna see over here again. Now we're gonna do our colors in our jewelry. Oh no, I want to do the leather too. The leathers for his little strappy business is gonna be that color as the boots. Same color leather that we're using here. Mushroom leather. Ooh, color got a little crazy. No, I don't want that color there because I don't want them to blend together. So we're going to go a similar, but we're going to do it just a different, like slightly different tone here. That way they don't just look like the same piece. There we go. Subtle but different. Oh, okay. Purples and blues. Let's go with something else. Now we're gonna do. Let's do a complement color. So we're gonna do if it's mostly purple, which I think most of us are purple or yellow. Any of those colors are gonna be in your yellow to orange range. So let's kind of mix, we'll cut the difference, and that will be the color of our gold, I think, is we're going to end up doing it. So we're going to go with gold being a bright yellow orange. So that way though maybe not the exact color of gold per se, it will look good against the colors we've decided to go with. I decided to go with those. And even if I change the colors around, if I kind of, use the little, slider deal to change the colors, they will stay in that same complementary, range. So no matter what we choose, they will match. I'm wearing charm bracelets like my mom. He's got his little bindle. Yeah, his bindle is going to be any good bindle's polka dot, right? Is it? Never did do the mushroom caps. Yeah, let's go a little brighter than that. You gotta lie a little bit with the brightest color on him being his hat. Bring this up a little bit. That's in the shadow. Now this is the color layer, shadow layer, and not erase that very well. Color layer. And boom, boom. Oop. And we're good. All right. Now we got to just pick out some. We're doing complementary colors. We're doing true blue. Let's go with a sapphire in his ear. Oop, a little too crazy. Sapphire in the ear. We'll do with this guy's sapphire. Sapphire. Maybe one down here. Now we're gonna go with a true green. I'll do a little peridot. rubies. He doesn't love rubies. Ooh, too much. What's it? Cerulean? What's the orange one? Oh, there's just a little yellow, bright yellow. Not yellow green, more yellow. Citron. Oh, that's gross. What color is that? You want it up here, bro? Oh, we gotta do the little quills. Oh, we didn't do his little. It's got a little gem that's done up here too. A little bit of gold in his hand. So back to our quill color. Oh, too thick. I didn't even check to see if the battery on my phone. It might be dead. I'm talking to myself at this point. But there's nothing new there, so. Okay, there's our base color. And we're going, oh, we gotta do his teeth. We gotta do his teeth. Where our color? We're gonna change our opacity, bring it down, and now we're getting our highlights. So now we can see what the true image is gonna look like there. I'm gonna bring the opacity down. So we get a little bit more of those muted colors. He brightens up a little bit as you get the highlights into him. And now we're going to go through and cut in. Get some brighter colors here, get some ink. Same palette, right? Same layer. Yep. And I didn't do this. A scar, you know, runs through there a little bit. There's a scar. Now we're gonna do a little bit of highlight, a little bit of actual white hits. Oh, wrong layer. That's what we're on. We're on the wrong layer. This one has to be above the line work so we can see it bright white. All right, well, there's our gnome. Let's play with a little bit of color and see if we get anything out of the ordinary that we didn't expect. And that'll be the end of it, I think. That'll be the... Oh, we're in the white. Wrong layer. So we're on here. So here we go. Boom, boom. See, I like that better. The strange muddles of the Underdark, maybe, you know? Bleach them out a bit more. We can make it more bright colors. Here we can go underneath and we can change the color of the shadow to give us a more of an intensity of that color. Maybe flatten it out a little bit here. We get that gray tone again. And maybe that's it. But we want to do a little bit of I think he has something magical in his bindle. So we're going to do... Oh, you know what we're doing? We'll go with this color. We'll go in between these two colors here. And we're going to make these luminescent. Maybe that's where we go. Maybe he had a little bit of light shining from his little torchy and bindle business. Yeah, that's us. All right. Thanks a lot, guys.